Hello, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another one of my brilliant casts by your host, Fish. And today we have a PvZ on Iron Fortress LE, limited edition, whatever the hell that really means on any of our maps. We have GnR, in the bottom right Zerg corner right here, we have teammate from Guns N' Roaches, Exothermic. And he seems pretty excited. Good luck, have fun. Yay! And to the top left corner over here, we have our Protoss player in the red trunks. We have loupenical, or is it loupenical? I'm gonna go with loupenical. Sounds like some kind of crappy factory. Anywho, all right. And today it's a PvZ. It looks like, interestingly enough, loupenical has put a pylon towards his natural here. He may be looking to go for a wall off. Perhaps a couple buildings over here or over here just to push every opposing army towards the side here or over here. Not entirely sure what he's going to do with that pylon, but I'm assuming a wall off of some sort. And to the bottom right we have the exothermic player here just droning up, going for his 15 pool perhaps, or 15 hatch. I am assuming he's going towards the 300 and he's moved his drone towards his natural, so it's going to look like a 15 hatch here. So it might be more conservative play during this game here. And what I see a lot in Zerg matchups against Protoss is they like to exploit their weaknesses, which, you know, you're supposed to do in StarCraft anyway, to exploit their weaknesses. But mobility is, I think, one of the weaknesses that Protosses really have. So Mutalisks are a popular way to go. Whether they go mass or not is the real question. But it looks like Exothermic is going to... He's going to scout. He's going for a third hatchery here. Before pool, which is a pretty aggressive economic play for a Zerg player here. So he's probably looking to get a big macro going as quickly as possible, while our Protoss player has started a pseudo wall off with his gateway and another pylon. He started his natural over here already, so nothing cheesy going out from either of these players. Double gas has been put down. And speaking of which, only one gas is over here, so he might be going speedlings shortly after this is completed here. Possibly just get a little scout on. I'm with 3 bases. With the 2 base, he might have gone with the speedling all in here, but seeing that this didn't come up until 4 minutes of the game, I seriously doubt any kind of aggression is going to happen. Anything super aggressive anyway, especially with this 3rd base right here. The Protoss player here looks like he... Not a lot of gas, just the double gas right here, so it doesn't look like he's going to go aggressive as well, at least not for the moment. If he was going to do something really tech heavy, he would have started it by now, especially with his 2nd base here, and he's had really built up his economy here. Started his warp gate right away, so we might see some aggression possibly. He knows he has a 3rd base. So loupenical could see this as a good hole in his defense. He knows that Exothermic goes for a 3rd base, so he can't have much of a defense at this moment. He probably has a few Zerglings, as he does, 4 Zerglings out on the field. So what he could do is put a pylon somewhere over here on the side of the field, or behind. Since the warp gate is on the way, he could get a little bit aggressive, especially in the 3rd base, perhaps take that out or do enough damage to keep him on the 2nd base. But it looks like he's electing not to harass with a forward pylon. It doesn't look like there's a forward pylon on the field at all. And looks like these 4 Zerglings are on the field. They're trying to be annoying as hell, trying to take out this 1 sentry, which could be a nice little pickoff, but doesn't look like... It looks like the probes are in the way, and they're doing a lot of damage here. The Zerglings do some damage. I think they took out 2 or 3 probes here. 3 probes. Nice little pickup from those 4 Zerglings. So nice trade by Exothermic here. And looks like he is continuing to draw up. He has 14 more Zerglings in production that just popped out. Speed is not quite done. It's about 3/4 of the way there. While our Zerg player is getting a few more sentries, possibly just a wall off if he needs to from... oh, he's going for a full wall off here. The gateway here. Is he... He doesn't have a forward pylon anywhere. Is he going to go air, perhaps? That's 3 gateways on his wall. Creating a few more pylons. On a forge, not exactly sure what he's going here. If he wants to get out, he's going to have to destroy one of these buildings or his pylon. A few more sentries popping out as well. Zergling trying to find out if he has a third base like he has. And it looks like he's not going to find one, so... It's going to be tough to see what our Protoss player is going to do, especially since he doesn't have that vision any longer. He sees, actually a lot, he saw a lot from that little corner here. He sees that the his warp gate is done. And he does have a robotics facility right here. Just to see, he knows it's a complete wall off. Wow. Now, most he could probably expect is a warp prism or an observer coming out. So this is a very different game here. It's a very economic opening for Exothermic. So he's going to have a lot of possibilities here, since no aggression at all coming from our Protoss player. So the world is his oyster currently, since that economy is going to allow him to do a lot of different things. Nothing is quite clear yet. He does have range coming along with +1 armor here. So it looks like he might go to a heavy Roach play, or perhaps a Roach Hydra. Since he has a lot of me, he can do a lot with it. Instead, has a lot of Zerglings on the field. He has 33 Zerglings. Perhaps a Baneling bust later on, perhaps to take out this wall off. Does look like he did completely do the wall off to protect himself from any speedling. But that is a hell of a lot of sentries here. And it might be, I haven't seen this in a while. Not exactly sure what he's going towards. Takes out this poor overlord. There's gonna supply block Exothermic here. He better see if he sees that he's supply blocked here. He does make 5 overlords in response to him losing that 1 overlord. So he's gonna be supply back only for a short time here. Makes 4 more roaches along with his 8 roaches already on the field. So it looks like it's gonna be a heavy roach play, but unfortunately, does he know that he has
mutation complete?
Looks like he's going straight Immortals here in a Colossus. Immortals are going to do a lot of damage to this Roach army if he goes full Roach here. If he makes more Immortals, I'm not exactly sure he knows what Zerg has. Looks like Exothermic is splitting up his army a little bit. And Zuber is in the middle of the field, which is a little curious. I would be exploring what he has, but unfortunately, Loupenical doesn't really know, actually has no idea what he's doing. All he knows is he has 3 bases, he's got a very economical opening, and he knows he hasn't harassed. So this could be very dangerous for Loupenical here. Loupenical has gone for his 3rd base. Observer is just going back to his base. It's a very weird play here, since he's not scouting the Zerg player at all. Exothermic is in the dark completely. I mean, Loupenical's in the dark completely, not knowing what Exothermic has. And it looks like Exothermic knows there's a 3rd base, and it's not walled off or anything. No army here currently. Let's see if he can take out a gateway. But this army, the Colossus, is doing a lot of damage to these Zerglings, and is completely pushed out from this army here. Not doing a lot of damage, if any at all. Just a little pecking around. And a huge force of roaches rush in here. And it's going to do a lot of damage here, especially as the upper ground and the concave against his main army. If he knows what's going on, looks like he might have been pushed on the move command. And he looks like he is doing some damage here. Takes out the Colossus. Immortals are doing a lot of damage to this Roach army here. And it looks like the Immortals are almost untouched from this army here. Zealous is taking a lot of that damage. And it looks like this army is going to be pulverized and completely pushed out because of the damage output from these Immortals. They do so much damage to these Roaches here. And it looks like the Roaches didn't try to take out the Immortals. If the Roaches did take out these Immortals during this battle here, it could have gone completely in favor of Exothermic's army here. That was a lot of Roaches that were there, and not that big of an army from our Protoss player. But unfortunately, 3 Roaches are left over here. A lot of Roaches actually come out in production. It looks like we have 24 Roaches completely onto the field here. And looks like the Protoss player is deciding to hold back, not the biggest army right here, but enough to fend off any kind of force, especially with all these sentries. But speaking of which, he lost a lot of sentries out of that battle here and didn't really get a lot from them. So that wasn't a very good trade on his part, but those Immortals did put in a lot of work for him. And it looks like Exothermic is going for his 4th base. It's a very good play here since no harass is coming from our Protoss player at all. Not a single Oracle, no Warp Gate, no forward pylon. It looks like loupenical is going extremely defensive. Well, it's hard to say extremely defensive, but he is defensive. He doesn't have a lot of cannons or anything walling off. He doesn't really have much at all. He has a nice Sim City going on here, so any kind of speedling is going to have to go around here and, you know, try to attack here. But with the cannon there, they're just going to auto attack that and not going to do much damage at all from that. Looks like he does see a pylon going for a possible 4th. And it looks like Mutalisks are actually on the play right here. Totally missed that. And Hydralisks on the field as well. Not a lot of Hydralisks out right now. And looks like he's only on 1-1 here. And it looks like he's going straight in for the attack. And it looks like he might have been on the move command for a little bit, trying to take out some of their tech from behind. But it looks like a lot of damage are taken from that because of all the Immortals and Archons. But Colossus doing a lot of damage here, pushing back a little bit of that force. And it looks like he's got a straight up battle. It looks like these Roaches cannot take that much damage. I mean, deal that much damage against all this force right here. There's a lot of Zealots that were right there and Stalkers, so they couldn't reach the Colossus in the back. Just a few Mutalisks in that army, not enough to actually do much damage here. Let's see what Exothermic does in response. It looks like he's just making more Mutalisks, which is a really good composition here, but he really needs to harass with that. And instead, it looks like he's just making it part of his army composition rather than a harassing unit. Which you can do that. I mean, you can make it part of a very strong army composition, but you need a lot of Mutalisks and you need a lot of upgrades with them to actually do a lot of decent damage, because they die fairly easily, especially if Stalkers are just targeting them at will, especially Archons. If they're all folded together, all stacked, they'll be gone very quickly. And it looks like Exothermic is rushing in here. He looks to try and stay aggressive and do more damage as well. But this Protoss army is looking scarier and scarier by the minute. Having 3 Colossus out on the field and a few Archons and a bunch of Stalkers. Looks like he's going to take out this 4th base fairly quickly. See if he cancels it. He does not cancel it. Looks like he's going to lose about 400 mils out of that. Looks like Zerglings are going in, trying to do as much damage as can. Immortal is staying up and does go down. 1 Immortal left on the field, 3 Colossus though. Mila is trying to do as much damage as they can to this Colossus and Stalker army over here, but are taken out fairly quickly from all the Stalker force right here. And it looks like, let's see here, what kind of upgrades we got. We got 2-2 for our Zerg play here, Exothermic, and we have +2 attack for our Protoss, which is pretty scary. The attack is already powerful for our Protoss army, but you add 2 to that. But unfortunately, he doesn't have any armor for his army. Let's see. Looks like he's going straight Zergling Mutalisk here. 2 Vipers on the way, 18 more Mutalisks. Looks like more upgrades for our Zerglings, but I think perhaps taking up the Banelings or perhaps even Ultralists at this point. You have a great economy. You have 4 bases going non-stop here pretty well, especially with no aggression coming from our Protoss player. You really need to tech up going into this late game, but unfortunately he's sticking with a bunch of Zerglings and Mutalisks. Not a fair amount of Mutalisks actually do enough damage to that. What these Zerglings should represent in the late game is just a nice harass unit, especially what he's going on right now. taking out this 4th base should be his priority with these Zerglings, or perhaps even going into his 3rd and doing a splash damage, or even pushing into his main or natural. And it looks like he's not going to get a lot done. He takes out I don't think he takes out really any buildings. Altogether, he's only taken out 4 workers throughout this game, and it looks like he's making a huge push towards his 3rd here. A lot of Zerglings in this army. He has 100, exactly 100 Zerglings attacking this 3rd. He can do a lot of damage, but he's not attacking the base here. He's taking out the production. It looks like the Protoss army has made it just in time. It looks like these Colossus are doing a lot of damage to this Zergling force here. And wow, completely burned to death. Oh my god, that is a lot of Zerglings gone. Well, how many he's got left? He's got 17 Zerglings remaining. He lost 73 Zerglings out of that battle. Well, Exothermic, he's having a big problem with, like, his macro is doing pretty well. He's keeping up with his upgrades, working on 3-3 right now, especially on his melee, but he's not taking up. These units going against all this Colossus and Zealots right here, they're going to be annihilated before they even really get to that army. Especially upgraded Zealots. They're not going to do much damage at all. This is a lot of Mutalisks right here, but there's so many Stalkers and Archons in this army, and they're so clumped up, they are going to be annihilated fairly quickly if he is not careful, but he's not careful at all. He's going to lose all of his Mutalisks. That is a lot of resources lost for little return. It looks like Exothermic has given up. He's GG'd out of this army. And I think, yeah, that was game right there. I mean, he has the economy to keep up with this. But that was a scary Protoss army right here. And the problem for our Zerg player is he did not tech up. He got a Spire out. He didn't really get any Hydras. He stopped making Roach Hydra completely. It just went straight Zergling and Mutalisk play. But as high DPS as those units are, they're very easily taken out by any kind of unit, especially clumped up Stalkers and Archons. So, good game by our Protoss player, loupenical, and well, GG.